Okay, so I'll be explaining everything about the game and that you'll need to know to help develop it. So first off, when you open a folder, you'll find the index.html. You don't have to mess with this or anything. This is not really special. All that goes on here is just you need to enter the password. Basically, it's this part. This is index.html. You can just enter the password there. You don't even need to click on that. You can actually just go to game and click on NinjaAdventureGame. And you don't even need to bother with this. It's okay because I have presets. And as you can see, here is the game. So let's first start here. Now you won't need to mess with actually any of this except for the JavaScript file, because this is just like the contact pages. I will add more as we go on. And this is extra information. The cheats you can just leave the cheats. I will add more as time goes by. This is just information about the bad kid. Well, this is also where some code comes in, because I'd like to make this into an object, but you don't have to concern yourself with this right now, because you will need to be doing the object, so I will be doing that. Okay, then there's also the help page. You don't need to mess with that, and the smooth scroll, you should not mess with that at all, because it's for the help page. Very important stuff there. Then you have the source. This is just as images, background music, and nothing special. Okay, then the NinjaHTML is just this page. It's just the skeleton of this page. Nothing special about it, so you can actually just close that. This is just the style of the page. You don't need to mess with this either. And then we can finally get to the JavaScript part of the page, which is the most important part, and this is right here. Now, also before I continue, each time you update something here, for example, it's a small part of the storyline or a big part of the storyline, just add it here. So next time we update it, we already have it automatically inserted here. You don't need to, I'll do that for you. You just tell me what you did and we can enter it anyways. So let's just close that because that's unimportant right now. So at the top is basically, there's my goal to do, or my to-do list. Here's the list of variables. For example, here the first part is literally all these variables. Go back. See, all of this is literally the first part. Let's quickly reopen that HTML file that I closed. Now, as you can see here are all the IDs and stuff. This isn't that important, but it's still good to know, because you might be needing to use that, especially when you get into a conflict part of the storyline. Input and output variables. This is very important. You should definitely get this one into your head, because this is the questions. This is Q. See, effect is this. This is effect. This is what happened. And basically everything that tells the story. This is technically the question, because I'm going to be asking you if you want to do something, correct? Then A yes, A no. These are both buttons. You will get to these two later. As you can see, option 1, option 2, and if you go here, they didn't have a specific place really. I added theirs in the CSS file. But see, as you can see, option 1 up to option 9 and stuff like that. All these up until extra 7 is this. We can add more later on if needed, but I doubt that we'll need more than what we have here. Then you have the gender, which you don't need to concern yourself with. When a person dies or something like that, we can get to this later on. The user is technically, if I'm correct, just the name. Most of these I don't work with. This will increase each time a new day starts. You'll see this later. You don't need to edit anything here, except for these that you will need later. Then here is just constants. They will not change at all. For example, it's HP, chakra, speed, all of that, which are here. You see, this is a constant. This is a constant. these are the variables because they can change. So these are variables, these are constants because they won't be changing. Okay, so this is just all of this. Then the new variables comes on. This is the actual hardcore variables. So here we have like HP 10, chakra 15. This will increase later on, like your age and everything here. It should be increasing and stuff. This is the user's input name. Basically something like this, because this is what you will see when here. This is where it will be. That's name. As you can see, name. That's where it will be. As you see, that's where the name will be. This is what the name is. So T is for true name. So that's the user's actual name. Like when you enter your name, and that's T name. So let's see, player gender. Yeah, most of these are kind of, you can figure it out yourself. This year is 0 because it's not in 1 year yet. Sexuality is unknown until we kind of figure out what their sexuality is. We will kind of determine it while we continue with the storyline. Then you have charm and special hidden charms. This I'll need to think about that. But you will also see where we use this in the code. I'll show you. Then max element stuff. Like this is the max HP you can have. Max chakra. This is what you start with. So when you lose HP in a battle or something, the computer will always know what this should be, and it will increment it up and up and up, as you'll see in the code, until it gets back to the max. So while this is lower than this one must increase. You get it? So, but this will also change during the course of the storyline. That's up to you, or that's how it goes. Like, let's say they make a choice to go train with a sage. After they train with a sage, for example, their chakra will increase to something like 20 or 34. Try to keep it in things from 10s and 5s, because except for like the kunai, stars, and ramen, that can be any number. But for example, the max HP and chakra, we should try and keep it like 10, 15, 20. We shouldn't try and have it in the middle, because that's going to be just unneat. Next up is constant package. Yeah, see, I don't constantly want to try and remember what this kid's name was, so I just say bad kid 1, good kid 1, sensei. Makes the whole process super easy. Also, if you become friends with him, he is kind of like the Sasuke but worse. He's actually evil, bad guy. He's the guy you meet in the beginning. This is the guy you save or help or bully, and this is just your teacher. This will change during the course of the storyline. Friend and enemy points. Yeah, as you can see, these comments are actually really useful, so if you get lost, you can just go through all of them. So there is variable bad kid, rep 1. Yeah, rep is your reputation. Yeah, of course. So let's say your reputation is 100, then you are friends. If your reputation is less than 100, you are not friends. If your reputation is 500, then you are best friends. So yeah, that it's good to note this. 100 is the average where all of you just start with. If it gets to like 0, I want to like let the person try and kill you, like literally just come at you from nowhere and just kill you. But you can still fight them, of course. Then there are arrays, which is really useful to note. For example, question, which is Q, yes, which is A, yes, A, no. It's basically, all of this is basically part of that, of those arrays, because they are buttons. You will see how they work now. So yeah, it's good to note these. OK is just an OK button for if you don't really have a choice to make, then you just press OK, which is usually just a yes or no, but won't have like a true or false, you know. There is a cheat input. You don't have to do anything here actually. The update, this is really useful because you don't constantly want to update your thing each day you start. You don't want to type all of this out. Yeah, see, here you go. HP_li dot inner HTML equals shp, which is the constant, plus the amount of HP. See, this is basically everything here. This is the constant. This is your HP you have now. This is your max HP, and inside this whole thing is the li. It's the container. We can kind of put it like that. It's kind of like a div. So yeah, so this is really useful when you update things, because then it like updates your HP and everything. Really useful. I use it after like each button, so it's useful to just keep this one in mind. You don't want to type all of that out. Then you have the sleep function, which will max up your, or not max up, yeah, it will max up your HP, because while your HP is smaller than your max HP, it will increase it. It will max it up. And then it will also max up your chakra. If you don't want that, you can just overwrite it later. And then it will also increase your energy by 15 points. And it will also do the update function. So when you sleep, you will actually see it update here. It is here, right? Yeah, there. Where is it now again? Where's energy? There. See, energy. So it will instantly update, so you can see if this was like 35, it will go instantly to 40. Useful functions to know. Then there is the clean function, because when you press a button, it doesn't go away. So you use the clean function to remove the button. Because see, if I didn't remove it, it will still be here. So now there's 2 new buttons. So the next up is the get name. This is, you don't need to bother yourself with this. This will just get the user's name. There is get charm, which will ask you what charm you want. Then you go see special hidden charm right there. Then it will say choose your charm. If you choose luck, this one's still luck, then your luck will increase with 20, and also your enemy's luck will decrease, which will because the luck kind of affects everything. Like, will you punch him? If your luck is high enough, then yeah, you will punch him. For example, let's say the luck is 80, then random it and say if the number is more than luck, then he has bad luck and the punch will miss, for example. Or if it's less or equal to the amount of luck he has, then he will punch him. It's kind of like that. Then if it's the second one, hidden potential, then his luck will decrease. But let's say he's almost dead. Like, let's say he has, for example, 20 HP left out of 500. Then his hidden potential will kick in, and he will, let's say, gain an extra 5 HP. His strength will increase with like 20, or like with like plus 30 points or something like that. Just something extreme, you know, but it's just temporarily. It will go away after a few choices. So if he doesn't choose wisely, he will die anyways. And then if it's the third one, that is slow time, then it will, if he activates it, then time will run slower for a short while for everything around him. Let's say you can like use it for like free choices, and then he can't use it. Then he has to like wait another day or something before he can use it again. Something like that. We'll put in a function for it in later and just insert it everywhere. So yeah, and then there is, if he chooses nothing, he doesn't have any of these. So he's kind of at a disadvantage then, as you can say. Next up is hidden P on, which is hidden potential when it's on. Then you see chakra pluses by 20, strength pluses by 20, speed pluses by 20, defense pluses by 10, stealth pluses by 3. I want to increase this because later in the game this might be really useful. So we can think about increasing this. Then if when it's turned off, it will decrease everything back into its original state. Then there's the cheats. You don't need to bother yourself with this at all because I've already done this. And then yeah, so you don't need to bother yourself with this unless you're going to add one yourself. Then there is a school awake. Let's see. Let's say because later on you'll see there's a random function when the person goes through this first day of school. If, like, let's say the number is smaller than 5, or yeah, if the number is smaller than 5, then it calls this function, which will increase his IQ, decrease his energy, increase his max HP, increases his defense, because there's no max defense, and it will also give him this little pop-up. But if it's the other one and he doesn't call this, then we'll just probably just lose like a bit of energy and not get anything here. I will show you all later about this. Now let's see else effect or inner HTML, and just this. It was a very informative, and minus energy with 5. And so you can do it with chakra, strength, speed. You can see with the comments, very useful. Don't delete those because they're very useful for when you use them. Then you have the school sleep. This is like if you sleep in school, then yeah, it will call this function. Random, then it will call a random function. So if sleep, the number of sleep, is less than 65, then he successfully slept and you took a nice long nap. Stealth increases, energy increases. But if it is bigger than 65, it will say effects will be the teacher caught you taking a nap, no break for you. Your sanity will go down, which is how good you are of a person. If your sanity is like, let's say, let's go here, sanity 400. This is your average, so you're not good or bad, or you're kind of on the good side here. If this is like 100, then people will see you as a bad guy. If this is like 800, people will see you as a really good guy and will admire you as a hero and stuff like that. So this is what they should look out for. It's kind of like their reputation. It also affects their reputation though, because if this is like under 200 or something, then this will go to bad or average. You know, like the reputation is good because it's at 400. It will turn to very good when it's like at 500 or 600 or something. I think I have it somewhere here as well. And then the reputation, yeah, see, the rep points go down as well. Then function YAML. So we'll work on that later. Then it's the first question, question 0, which is an array, as you can see. Do you want to start your journey plus his name, and in buttons, which are arrays, as you can see, you do need to add this though. This whole thing, you need to add it each time you make a button. It's a bit of a drag, but you do need to do this. And you just change this to whatever you need the text inside to be. This is the most important parts, or these are the most important parts. And then it's window.unload, update. Yeah, so window loads for the first time. It calls the update function. So you don't need to bother yourself with this. Then this is for the song. Then as you can see, I incremented the arrays and stuff and made it equal to new things. I wouldn't ever need to call it anything. If you do have a more efficient way of doing this, feel free to do it. That's up to you. And then there is the function next to so you don't really need to bother. Here's a good example. This is the one I wanted. Like here, as you can see, the question increased into 2. And here is where it can get a little bit confusing because it's extra up until arrays part 6. You see all of them in inside change. They have different functions, each of them. This is where the hard part comes in. You gotta code all of this. It's so much work. It's a really huge amount of work. and here I call clean to clean everything beforehand. They never put it afterwards because then it's going to clean everything after it's pasted it, so don't do that. Then q.innerHTML becomes question array 2, which is this one. Then a extra 1, which is the extra option 1, which you can have because it's just a bunch of buttons. It doesn't really mean anything. You can put a yes in here. It will have the same effect. It wouldn't really make much difference what happens. So it's kind of up to you if you want what you want to put here. I just like to put it in a order or put it into a nice decorative way so I can read it easier. Because if it's a yes 1.innerHTML, then suddenly a extra 2.innerHTML, I kind of wonder why did I do that again. But as you can see, they all use their own little thingy, their own little array. As you can see, they call it basically. And then you have this. Then you can like go to the function question free number 1 yes. You don't have to do it like I do. I just like doing it because it's clean code. See there, do it again. Then question free number 0 yes function. Because see here, it actually calls the function. So with the press on it, it will go here. And see, this is what it does. And then it has all this extra back again. This can be quite hard to remember, so you should just stay on top. So this is basically the basics you'll need to know. You don't need to know more than this. You can just follow this. Also, a good thing to use is where can I find a good example? Where does the story begin? Here's a good here's a good example. Here's what I want to do. You see this? If you don't know ES6 yet, this is useful to know because you usually get this, which is you can obviously use. You can use either this or this or this. Now, if you use this, then you can use this and this inside of it, and the same goes for this. You can use everything inside of that. But if you use this, then you can call variables like this. For example, you can take in like this, whatever text you want. Then let's say you want to call a variable now. Then it's like call variable basically, and then you just call the variable there for bad kid 1. Then it will call the name I showed you at the top. Let's just delete that. Okay, then we'll go, let's all the way back to the top. Then it will call this variable bad kid 1, this constant Kuruko, and you can just call it. It's much easier, much faster, because otherwise you will need to do this. You put it in a double or single quotes, preferably double, so you can like be good at grammar, you know, plus the variable plus double quotes again, and put your stuff in there, or single quotes, up to you. You don't want to do that because that's a lot of flipping effort. Also, here you can see like your reputation for him goes down, so he like, or here it goes up, so he likes you more. But see, society likes you less. So you become kind of like a bad guy while befriending him. So yeah. So this is just easy to, or good to note, because it makes it easier. Also, when you code inside of this, you could use HTML, for example, Q, which is quote, so you don't have to do this, because that's a lot of effort. You don't want to do that. So you just use Q, because then you open it and close it. So everything in here will be inside of the quoted stuff. And you will also not forget to like do that, and then type, and then forget to do that, because you don't want to do that. Or you want to do that, but you forget about it. So it's good to note that you can use that. Then, yeah, it just continues like this for a long time. And there's also like the regeneration, which I added later on. Let's go here. As you hear regen. Oh yeah, I showed you this. Yeah. Okay, then if you continue all the way, and you see like these blocks, big part of the storyline, lots of options. Yeah, this means that there's a lot of freaking effort. We're going to be removing this later on though, so you can just like, this big thing is very useful if you search it up here, because this tells you where we are. I am between this part and this part. You see these two big things tell you I'm between them. I'm between this thing right here and this thing right here. Now even deeper inside, I'm between this part right here, this one, and this one right here. I'm between these two. This is where I am right now. I'm working on this part right here. As you can see, clean and all of that. I'm working on it. And yeah, so as you can see, it's kind of a lot of typing effort. You're kind of gonna constantly add and add and add. Effect wonder and HTML becomes that, and plus equal means it has the first sentence, like effect has its first sentence, then you want to add another sentence without needing to like go off the screen, because you don't want that. That is annoying. So when you go back here, there's like, so when you go back here, there's like going off the screen. You gotta like go to read it, and you don't want that. That's annoying as hell. So you just go plus equal, not just equal, not just plus. And you go plus equal, because if you add a plus here at the side, or if you do this, it just kind of like, for some reason it doesn't work. So you don't do that. It just breaks the game. And basically it's all of this. And remember, clean always at the top, update always at the bottom. Update should never be at the top, and clean should never be at the bottom. Update can be at the top, but then it will be late. And let's see. Yeah, see, then I'm between this, and then continue story from here. This helps me to note where I am specifically. Now, when you start coding, you can like make your own block and be like, this is my block. For example, bipolar San. Like this, let's say it's this guy. Now I will know that you're busy with this part of the story, so you can just do whatever you want here. You don't need my help then, or you can help me with mine. That's up to you as well. I don't care, because basically when we like select random stuff, yeah, okay, no, okay, do nothing, I'm your friend, stay outside and play. For example, somebody can continue with this one because this doesn't work. It doesn't really matter where the function is, because at the end of the day, no matter where the function is, it will call it. But something nice of you to do after you've done, because see, it's at extra 41 now. So something nice of you to do will be maybe so you can go here and go to, just say like Netsu is at, he has used extra 777, which means you should not use this or anything underneath it, because it's important to know that. So you should know, don't go underneath that, always stay on top of that. And if you have done something, then you can go like Jason is at extra 900, which means if I get to a point where I'm like at 7 or like at 899, then I should continue after that to extra 1000. Try and skip up to 100 of these because they're important. So if you see someone's there and you're at the same place, skip 100 of them and just continue to the next one. Don't be bothered by which one, but always update this, because if you don't, the code is going to get confused and stuff, and everything's not going to work nicely. So let's go Netsu extra is at what was that number? It was something like in the 40s, like 43 or something. Let's quickly see. See, it's easy to navigate because I know where it is. It was extra 41. Okay, So right now I am at extra 41. So if you want to start something extra 41, you can start at like extra 101, or I mean extra 100 or 101, whatever you want. And each time you code, just update this, because we don't want the code to get confusing for everyone. You don't want to be the guy that messes everything up. Okay, the video must probably be getting really long right now. Okay, so if you're unsure how to spell something, ask someone in the group, or just get a dictionary online and search it up. Another thing to note is you can also go to spell check. If you're unsure, just check spell check, and it will like just be like, hey, are you sure that should be like that, and stuff like that. But don't edit anything that's not that you shouldn't. But anyways, you can go and like when you start editing, you can go and do this one. Just tell the group that you have started doing this button right here, so we know like, hey, we shouldn't be editing this button, and we can just all work on one button ourselves, and just because I'm busy working with that first one. And as you can see, it doesn't matter where anything is, because this code can be confusing and stuff. As long as it works, it's okay. But I would highly recommend you to like put it at the bottom, to put your code at the bottom. It will make everything so much easier for everyone. And don't go below day 2, because the day 2 is basically a new day and stuff. It's okay as at 4. I should also note that for you guys. We should note all of these things right here. For example, yes, no is at 10. I'm not sure if they're higher, but you can search them like yes, like 1, okay, 112, is there 12 years? Is there 12? Is there 13? Is there 14? There's no 14. There's a 13. There is no 14, which means 14 is the next open spot. And I believe it's the same thing with no. It's also at, yeah, it's also at 13. So we can go like this. Yes, 13, no, 13, and then there was okay, which was at 4. So you just go 100 above all of these. You just plus 100. So you all know where we are and stuff. And just remember to always update that, because if you don't, it's going to get really confusing and you can mess up the code. We don't want that, so just remember that always. But even though this okay is at 6, don't go and make your own okay at like a 10 or something like that, because it will just irritate me and irritate the person who was going to 10. Give that person 100 numbers leeways, just so it doesn't irritate them that much. Okay, and that's about all you guys need to know. If there's anything else, you can just, I believe you can leave a comment, yeah. And yeah, if there's anything else you need, you can just ask me on WhatsApp or just leave a comment and I will explain it to you. The source code will also be on the server we now have. Link is also in the description. It's a Google Drive, so you can just go there. Yeah, also if you have a suggestion for like what we can add at like the help page, or what we should add somewhere else, like we should make a terms and conditions by now and stuff,